Hello and welcome to Cricut's handmade holiday event for 2024. My name is Sarah Edwards and I'm a Cricut contributing artist under the name Craft with Sarah. In this video, I'm showing you how to make this beautiful and glittery snowflake lantern to hang up for your Christmas decorations or to put on your Christmas tree. Now it's a little hard to see just how pretty this is with my big camera lights on, so let's turn one of them out and face the other one in the other direction. And now you can see it glowing in all of its glory. I've got it set on blue, but the lights I've used can also go all kinds of different colours. To find the project, head to Design Space and search Craft with Sarah, or click the link that I've included in the description of this video. Let's get started. Here are all of the supplies that you'll need to make this snowflake lantern. You'll need cardstock in white and 2 shades of blue. I've used 2 different glittery cards for a little bit of sparkle on the blues, but if you don't have any, just normal blue card is fine, or of course you can switch it up for any colours you want. You'll need some vellum or tracing paper or some sort of semi-translucent material to put inside all of the sides to help give it a little diffused glow of the light. If you don't have any, you can leave that out or maybe cut it from clear acetate instead. It might mean that you can see the light mechanisms a little bit through the gaps, whereas these bits help to hide it, but it will still look lovely even if you don't put those little windows behind. You'll need some ribbon to tie your ornament onto the tree when it's all finished. You'll need some glue and some foam squares. These are the foam squares I'm using, which are quite small, which is going to be helpful for this as it's a little bit thin. But if yours are bigger, you can cut them smaller with scissors. If you don't have foam squares, you can glue everything instead and it will still work out just fine. And you'll need some lights to go inside. I'm using these submersible LED lights, and I like these because they can come in all different colours and they come with a little remote for turning it on and off too. So for these to work, you just turn them. If they're brand new like this one is, you need to open it up first by twisting, and then the battery will probably have a little bit of protection on it. So remove that and then do it up tightly, and then it will come on and start glowing. If I turn my light out, you can see it a little bit better. And this is going all different colours, or you can make it go one colour with the remote. The only thing I will say is that the packs normally only come with 1 or 2 remotes, so if you're making these as gifts, just bear that in mind. But you can turn the lights on and off simply by twisting them without the remote too. This is what the project looks like when it's opened in Cricut Design Space. It should load in at the whole group of being 14 inches tall and 10.5 inches wide. The final size of the lantern you can find out by ungrouping the layers and then look down until you find the biggest white snowflake of the lantern piece and click it to select it. So it's just under 5.5 inches wide and just over 5 3/4 inches tall. There's nothing you need to do on this design before you can cut it out. The only thing I want to make you aware of are these green pieces down the bottom. These should be cut from the vellum or translucent material such as tracing paper, as they'll be going behind each of the little windows in the side of the lantern to help diffuse the light and make it look extra pretty. Everything else can be cut from cardstock. Let's start the assembly process by gluing all of the vellum pieces to the back of the snowflake panels. So turn it upside down, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glue, not all the way up to the edge because the vellum pieces are a little bit smaller to give us a bit of wiggle room for alignment, but I'll try and get a little bit of glue in between the cutout holes. And then take your piece, line it up, and push down gently because you don't want to smush any of that glue out into areas that will be visible. And then that's what it looks like. And this is it from the front. So it's all now nicely sort of semi-transparent in there to hide our light mechanism. I've already glued on my other ones, so I can put these to one side. And next I'll move on to putting the main snowflake together. Apologies for the bright orange background, by the way. Normally my filming table is white, as you can see under there, and it was really hard trying to show the white snowflake on a white background, so I put something brightly coloured under there to make it a bit easier to see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to start with my very bottom piece, which is the white one, and then glue the darker blue colour on top. Try and get the glue into all the sticky out bits so that it will stick on really well when it's all hanging. You can use the little hole at the top to line it up, but then the rest of it, you've got the sort of smaller, thicker sides. I don't know how to describe them. They'll line up exactly on the white, but the thinner bits with the little spokes on, they'll sit right in the middle of the white so that you can see an even amount of the white all the way around the edge. And there's that one. My glitter card is shedding everywhere. And then for the next bit, the white piece, you can either glue this on or you can use foam squares to give it a little bit of dimension, which is what I'm going to do. So I've turned this upside down and here are my foam squares. Oops, so let's add some of these. If your foam squares are a little too big for this, cut them smaller with scissors. You want to make sure that none of the foam squares are going over the edge of your snowflake, otherwise you'll be able to see them when it's all stuck together, which we don't want. We want it to be all nice and hidden. So I'll keep going round and adding 2 into each of the little sticky out bits is a good amount to make sure it's going to be stuck on all the kind of delicate pieces that might catch on the tree branches of your Christmas tree, but also some bits around the circle for some added stability. And then once all of those are stuck on, you can peel off the tops to reveal the stickiness underneath. Bring in your original layers, and then this will go on top. So it'll line up exactly along all those shorter, thicker, spiky bits on the dark blue layer. Give it a nice firm push down to get those foam squares stuck, especially if you are using glitter card, because that can be a little bit harder to get the foam to stick to. Then our last piece to go on the front of the snowflake is the lighter blue one, and this one will be glued on. This one is quite thin around those edges, so be careful with your glue. It will line up with the edges of the white exactly to give it that nice border. There! Very sparkly and beautiful. Next up, we'll build the sides of the lantern, and you'll have these 2 pieces. The first one we'll be adding in is the one that's got 2 slits at the top here and 2 at the bottom. And then the one that will go on last is the one that's just got the 1 slit at the top and 1 at the bottom. Take the one with 2 and your snowflake. And then this is going to go in at the top, slide it over, and then carefully pull it through so that the slit in the bottom goes over the hole in there. It's a little bit fiddly and try not to bend it as it goes in. Then hold it flat against itself and take the other one, and we'll do the same thing. So slot over the holes at the top, push it all the way up and carefully pull it through and slot into the bottom. And then it will open out into a 6-sided shape. We need to give this some stability, and that's what these 2 circles are for. These are the same size, so it doesn't matter which one you choose. The little ridges on the edge of here, for example here where my nail is pointing, will go into the little slits in each of these pieces. So slide it into the middle of all 6 and then pull it up and then work nice and slowly until all of those slits are in place. Now this is quite fiddly and also very hard to show on camera because it's quite small. You might need to sort of wiggle it up a little bit on one side and then move over to the other side and get the next bit in place. It just depends a little bit on how thick your card is and how you've sort of wiggled it all into position. Once they're all in, it should look nice and flat along the top, and then we're going to do the same thing with the bottom. So put it into the middle and then get all of those slits in place. I'm going to pause my recording and get that done because you've already seen me do it for the top and it is exactly the same. Now I've got my top and bottom circles in. The only thing left to do is to put in the sides and then add some ribbon into the top. All the side panels are the same, so it doesn't matter which order you go in. Take the pointy bit on the top and slide it through the slit in one of the circles and then carefully bend it inwards and put it through the bottom. And then that will hold it in place. And then do the same for all of the sides apart from one, because you need to leave one open to get the light in. Now you might find, especially if you used really thick white card, which I have, I probably should have used some a little bit thinner, is that it tries to bend a little bit around the snowflake. You can sort of see it here. To try and stop that from happening, before you put the pieces in, you can sort of start that bend a little bit with your fingers. So you're not trying to fold it or put any creases in, but just sort of get it into the arch shape that it'll be in once it goes into the lantern. And that can stop those creases from appearing a little bit better. Here's how my lantern's looking. I've put in 5 of the sides and got 1 remaining. So I've got my little light, and you might want to add some foam squares or even something like blue tack to the bottom to help it stay in place, but this is completely optional. I am going to do this. So this is just kind of like a tacky sort of putty if you haven't seen it before, and it's really easy to peel on and off. So let's put that on the bottom, make sure my light is turned all the way, and then place it in and just sort of push it down a bit to get the putty to stick, and then I can put on my final side. You might need to sort of squidge them around a little bit to cover up any gaps and get them all to fit in nicely, but it should go in fairly well. Now I did not stick that down very well because it's just come unstuck when I moved it. So I'll try that again in a moment, but you can see if I turn my light out, this is now glowing really nicely. It is glowing much better in real life than it looks on the camera. I turn that light away as well. You can see it a bit better. It's really, really pretty. And we could try making it maybe just pink or just blue, or go through all the different colours one after the other. Lastly, let's add some ribbon. I've got some thin white ribbon here. I'm going to fold it in half to get a little loop and put that through the holes in the top, pull it through, and then pull the strands of the ribbon through that little loop and pull it tight, and that will secure it onto the lantern. Now I'm not going to cut the rest of it yet until it actually goes on my tree, so I'll know how much ribbon to use, but if you want to, you could cut it now and tie it into a bow at the top. But there we have it, our beautiful snowflake lantern, all lighting up and gorgeous for Christmas. Let's show it off a little bit better with the lights out. I hope you enjoyed making the snowflake lantern with me. Don't forget, the file is available on my Cricut Access profile. Search for Craft with Sarah in Design Space to find it. Also on my profile are loads of matching Christmas ornaments that also have this slot together design. Those ones weren't specifically created to be lanterns, but you could add the little lights in them too if you want to. Thank you so much for watching along, and I hope you have fun at Cricut's Handmade Holidays event. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!